Hello, everyone. Francesco here, and I'll be one of your hosts and DMs for the Hapless Heroes podcast. I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of all of us for giving us a shot and joining our audience. And I also want to just take this time to offer a brief disclaimer regarding the earlier episodes of our podcast. We were just super eager to record our sessions and release them, but we didn't really have the equipment or experience to make our audio quality that great off the bat. But as you can tell by the way I sound now, we've definitely addressed that. So if you can suffer through a handful of episodes recorded through a single mic and some other interface issues we had in the early days, probably only the first handful of episodes anyways, I can say with confidence that it gets better, and we've added some fun things like sound effects and all that other fun stuff. So again, that all being said, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the ride. Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Hapless Heroes. We are an original D&D podcast. I am your host and DM for this evening, Francesco. To my left, we have James, who plays Hoblet.
Hello, friends.
We have Mike, who plays Quinn.
Good day.
We have Dave, who plays Zero.
Hello.
And we have Joe, who plays Ezra.
Hey.
Okay, so before we started recording our episodes, our lovely party here found themselves in a training facility to become, the next best Crucible Runners. This guild that sort of ventures into the haunted and desecrated Crucible lands to retrieve magical artifacts. Only to find out that the entire training facility was run by some sort of madman who claimed to be Sergeant Nathaniel Podrick Chester, or Sergeant NPC for short, only to be some sort of aspect of death, and they bravely slew him, but they discovered a terrible secret within this facility, and that there is this giant orb, containing so many damned souls. And they really had no idea what to do with it, so they're kind of on their way back to Arylon to maybe report it to the authorities, or whatever they decide to do with that information, but also to kind of actually look for work that pays, since they've walked out of here pretty much empty-handed. So we're starting right now. As you guys kind of exit the training facility, you notice that what had looked to be just a field full of tents and, people running all about and recruits and different drill sergeants and, that big, large brick structure is nothing more than just an open field and some ruins behind you that you're exiting from. And you notice that as you guys exit out of them completely, that doorway kind of collapses a bit. And it's kind of hard to, you probably have to do some digging to kind of find your way back in, but, maybe that's best left to other people. You guys are, just based on, how you kind of got here, that you're about 3 miles away from civilization. The city of Arylon is just about 3 miles to your northwest. And there's a road that kind of leads from this area, this open field. It starts to kind of form out through some thick vegetation. Not really a lot of trees, but it's like a lot of tall grass. It's not really a lot of well-kept roads out in this area, but I'm sure you're sure you guys will find your way as you head north a bit back to a main, well-traveled road. Are you guys heading that way?
I would say that would make the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Quinn kind of takes the lead.
Yeah, no, you guys are heading up. I mean, it's, you're making a decent pace. You guys have kind of had a moment to just kind of collect yourselves. And along the road, it starts to kind of curve off, and you see it almost fork into what appears to be a well-established road, dirt road. This definitely is the road that leads out of Arylon into some of the smaller townships, that are within its, within the kingdom of Vesh, just like small towns, farming towns mostly. It's a lot of agriculture around here. You're starting to see a lot of cornfields and, different things of that type, barns and whatnot. And you actually see coming up the road, towards you guys, kind of almost meeting you at the fork a bit. There's a dude, kind of hauling a cart full of different vegetables, probably to bring into town to sell. You guys are definitely still about 120 feet ahead of him. He's kind of just, but he's trudging along towards you. I mean, are you guys going to stop or just kind of keep going down the path?
I have no real reason to talk to him, so Quinn kind of just, does a little wave and walks by.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, you guys, you're just going to keep going on, right? Yeah. Just, not even going to, like, if you get in his way, you get in his way, right? So you guys are kind of heading up along. Eventually, you kind of hear someone saying, like, on your left!
Right. Looking behind us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you see he's kind of coming up. He's trying to pass you guys, but since you guys go a little bit spread on the road, he doesn't want to like go into like the grass because he might end up in a ditch.
Yep.
He's just kind of letting you guys know he needs to pass by.
Off to the left or off to the right.
Yeah, you guys kind of move off to the right. He kind of tips his hat to you, like, thank you, friends, and just kind of trudges along back into like up the road towards Arylon. So 3 miles. It's a bit of a hike. You guys make it there in about an hour, I'd say.
3 miles an hour is a good walking pace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about that's a good. It's just like a normal pace. You guys aren't really rushing for you're not like sprinting into town. And as you said to approach the city proper of Arylon, you see it's surrounded by this large, stone wall, and there's like there's a river, the River of Woe, that runs through the center of the city.
As we start approaching the walls, I pull my hood up over my head and try to keep a low profile. Nature concealed.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. People aren't really accustomed to seeing things like you around.
Yeah.
You kind of approach the city gate. You see there's a couple guards posted up there. They kind of just take a look at you to say like, hey, no funny business. Weapons away. Mind the laws of the city. Please review them on your way in if you have not already. You guys take a moment to stop and look at the.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Of course.
So. A lot of the laws are pretty cut and dry, like no murdering, no stealings, things like that, but also no magic of any kind to be used within the city limits unless you have a proper permit from Queen Varadesh, because magic is definitely something that's still very much feared in this land, as we know, because of the whole upheaval and weakening of magic in this world. It also says that weapons must be holstered at all times. No exceptions unless it is city personnel. And that's really the ones, those are the big ticket items that you take away from that. There's also a couple items about, no loitering, no public urination, things like that, but you guys probably know better.
How many drinks have we had?
Well, at this point, I think you guys are pretty sobered up after all that went on in the training facility.
Yeah, I don't think the public urination will come until later.
Quinn kind of does like an OCD double check of all of his weapons, make sure that they're on him.
What do you mean almost died?
Yeah.
I was.
Well, he died and then came back.
Yeah,
right.
Actual dead.
He was actual dead, right? All right, so you guys are kind of in the city now. I mean, where do you really want to go from here?
Are there any places that I can buy weapons?
Yeah, there's a market square that's sort of in the center of the city on the other side of the river. You're just going to have to cross over like a little bridge to get there. It's a modest-sized city, but everything's kind of been built up here, so the population is actually pretty respectable. It's just that the actual city limits themselves are rather confined, so it doesn't take really long to get anywhere. You guys kind of entered in from the south wall of the city, and so you're kind of walking by the hill that leads up to the castle and where the royal family lives.
Okay, so that queen, is she just the queen of this town area?
She's the queen of this region.
Okay.
The kingdom of Vesh.
Okay. All right, so this is the seat of the kingdom.
This is the seat of the kingdom.
Okay.
Correct. So just if you guys had northwest in town just a little bit, you guys would be right at the market square. Is anyone else trying to do anything else? The inn is over there as well. In that section.
I'll need that.
The lodging will be good to figure out where we need to be.
Yeah, sure. So you guys, and then the Crucible, the runner house, the local runner house chapter is just to the right of everything. You kind of just walk down a path a bit, and you'll make it to that enclosed area. It's where the city guard is, and also where the local runner house is. So you guys have to go kind of through the market square to get there anyways.
The city guard keeping themselves close to the runners.
Mm-hmm.
No, that would never happen.
Right. Yeah, they want to keep them sort of contained because they're a pretty ragtag bunch a lot of the times. Just any old adventurer is trying to make a name for themselves. They got to keep them straight. So you guys make it to the market square. You see this big sign for the Morningwood Inn. Mourning. So you got a picture of a big sign of a weeping willow tree.
Of course, it would have wood on it.
And then there's a whole bunch of different market stalls set up in front of shop fronts. So it's kind of like an open air market right now because at this point you're kind of in the early evening. So, like, the sun's still out. People are still kind of running about, picking up different things. I mean, there's, your typical vendors, like, different food and drinks and things of that nature. But there's also people selling weapons, armor, different trinkets and oddities. There's even a guy who has a magic shop put open. But you can see right now that the prices are just exorbitant. Probably items, fetched by Crucible Runners, you'd assume.
Oh, boy.
Now, can we assume that the government is obviously taxing magic items? Is that kind of what the...
I mean, let's see how much you know about Arylon, because you're not from here, so why don't you give me a history check?
I rolled a 16.
Yeah. I mean, you know a little bit about the area just from, because when you travel here, you kind of looked up to just see, like, especially if you were going to settle down here for a little bit, because you didn't really know where you were trying to go. If they were going to end up taxing, even your income, from Crucible running or just from taking odd jobs around town. They do have, there's like a sales tax, but it's already factored into most of the prices. And it's modest. It's not really, it's just essentially to make sure that the people who need to sustain themselves can sustain themselves. It doesn't really seem to be any rather unfair. In fact, that the queen is very much a woman of the people and is very looks out for everyone in her kingdom. She's you even know that especially after she lost her parents and took their throne. Kind of unexpectedly because she was the next in line, that she really did her best to kind of continue their legacy of taking care of the people and all the lands that surround Arylon because she feels personally responsible for everybody.
So I know that her parents have been
that there was an incident, and that they definitely passed away unexpectedly, but you don't really have a lot of details about that. The news of like it's all rumors really at this point. You don't it could have been a murder, it could have been disease. I mean, you really don't have any solid facts. It's something that people fabricated a lot of stories about over time.
Sure,
because this happened probably about 10 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys are kind of in the market square. Is anyone looking for anything in particular? Trying to do anything in particular?
I'm looking for something to add to my arsenal in ranged weaponry.
Sure.
I'm either looking for a light crossbow or a short bow.
Yeah, I mean the dude who's selling the weapons goes by the name of Balthar. It's Balthar's Blades and Blunts.
Of course.
He's got all sorts of different things, blades, hammers, different bows. I mean, none of them seem to be of any exceptional quality. They're just your standard weaponry. Probably just got traded in here from somewhere else. Just some surplus. But it looks good enough to use. Mm-hmm. What are you trying to purchase?
I'll look for a short bow.
Sure, yeah. So you walk up to a stand. You see that Balthar is this sort of he's human, stands about 5'8". He's definitely a bit of a stocky fellow, but not really in a muscular way. There's definitely some hints of muscle probably from just lugging all the weapons and armor around all the time, like in and out of the shop. But he looks like he has kind of an assistant that's kind of helping him move stuff around because he's a bit portly. And so you walk up to his store and he's like, "What can I do you for?"
I was looking at your short bow.
Sure, I got all the finest quality short bows. What are you looking to spend here?
What's your price range?
Well, I'll tell you, for a short bow like that, for you, make you a deal. 30 gold.
It was very nice knowing you. I don't believe the quality of this short bow is for 30 gold.
Do me a favor, roll me just charisma. I'll get you to use persuasion if you want to.
13?
Yeah. He's like, okay, 25? Maybe try 25. 25. How about that? For the fine adventurer.
I have a good 20 for you, and that's as good as I'll go.
Well, you were kind of already beat him on the charisma side, so you're kind of already making the rules here at this point. So he's gonna kind of just begrudgingly accept, and he's gonna kind of hold. He kind of holds out the short bow, but he's got his hand out for like the gold pouch to make sure you don't swindle him out of that.
And I'm a fair guy.
Yeah.
Quinn's a fair guy, so he gives him his 20.
All right. Yeah, you are the proud owner of a new short bow.
Cool.
Anyone else trying to do anything while we're here? You guys haven't slept in a while. Might be a good time to kind of just
get a rest.
Pop into the morning wood inn and yeah.
We can look in on work in the morning.
Cool. So you guys kind of walk into the inn. As you walk in, you can see that there's a whole bunch of different tables and stools and things like that splayed all about. It's really well lit in here. There's a bardic troupe playing some music.
Oh, goody!
At the on the stage in the back, there's a bar to your right, and then there's a set of stairs that kind of go up to maybe where the rooms and residences are to your left. You can see the owner already. This looks like an older, short human man. Grayed hair. He's got this what looks to be like a half-blind, like giant dog, like a Saint Bernard, just like kind of chilling by his feet. And he's kind of greeting all the guests as they walk in, and asking them to take a seat. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy your stay. Please see my daughter at the front desk. If you need to make any reservations, this and that. What are you guys trying to do? I mean, it's bustling. There's the ale is flowing. The music is playing. There's a warm hearth to sit by.
I'm at the back of the group with my hood up and keeping it pretty nondescript.
Okay. What is anybody else doing?
I immediately kind of shrug through everyone. Go right to the bar.
Of course.
That's what he does.
I obviously follow Ezra right behind him.
Sure.
And Hoblet uses his small stature to follow the two of them in the sea that they're parting.
Sure.
So I'm kind of
yeah.
trucking along behind.
You make your own path. I mean, you may be short, but you're definitely pretty stocky. You're very muscular, especially all that heavy armor you're wearing.
Okay.
You're kind of just pushing your way through. I mean, there's a couple. It's mostly humans in here, but there's definitely a few people of other races. There's a gnome or two hanging about. Maybe you see another dwarf kind of chilling, drinking with what looks to be another group of adventurers. There's definitely one or two groups of definitely adventuring type people looking in here. Like there are definitely maybe some people who are also like traveling, looking for work, maybe the Crucible Runner houses, or just I mean, it's people who were around, like maybe you and like maybe Hoblets or.
What's an appropriate price for a drink?
You have to go ask the bartender.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once they push over to the bar, Hoblet's gonna pop himself up onto a bar stool.
Yeah, sure. Just kind of hop up, yeah.
Excuse me, barkeep. How much for 3 of your finest whiskeys?
And you can see that when you go up to the bar, you actually don't even see a bartender, and then all of a sudden you kind of hear this voice from underneath the bar, like, well, I'll give you a special deal. 50 silver a drink tonight. 50 silver a drink. It's happy hour. And you kind of look down and you see that this is like this little gnome, like kind of messing about, like trying to grab like different bottles, and like he's like kind of restocking certain areas. And there's like a set of stairs that actually lead up to like a little platform that goes along the L-shaped bar, so he can walk along like the bar on his own platform to make sure he can serve everybody. And you can say, just give me a moment. And you kind of see him like kind of just like plop up the steps a little bit and looks at you like, what can I get you? We got the finest ales and spirits.
Hoblet takes 6 gold from his pouch and slams his fist down. Here's 6 gold. Give me as much whiskey that my friends and I can drink for this.
Oh, wow. Well, whiskey. Well, you see him like kind of trying to get a bunch of different bottles and things like that. He's like, well, I got this. I got our house. 50 silver. I can probably get you. I'll get you. Let's see. Well, the whiskey's a little more expensive. I mean, how do you feel about a gold a shot?
How do you feel about no money?
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. You guys are new here. Are you staying the night? I'll give you a deal.
Depending on how this experience goes.
How about we'll comp your rooms for the night, okay? We'll just comp your rooms for the night.
Now we're talking.
I didn't know how
Because you see him that he's getting visibly nervous because obviously he must have been yelled at about this in the past. Actually, make me an insight check if you can.
I didn't know how badly I needed no mixologists running around a game until right now.
Mm-hmm. What's that? Would you like to announce that for the audience?
A nat 1.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you think he's being totally fair, to be honest with you. Like, you think that he's just trying to, they're just trying to charge their prices. Alright? 6 gold, pours out the 6 shots in a line right in front of you. Here you go, guys. Still, rooms are on us tonight, okay? Rooms are on us tonight for this group here. This group right here, okay.
Thank you, small fellow.
Yes, thank you. Yes, no problem.
Gentlemen, 2 in front of Quinn, 2 in front of Ezra. I don't know if...
I'm actually kind of not quite skulking in a corner, but out of the way, kind of out of the flow of people. I really don't want people bumping into me and hearing a clang.
Sure.
Zero's just trying to reboot.
Okay.
Right.
Hoblet picks one of the drinks up, holds it up in the air and says,
it's kind of a shady word.
Here's to Quinn still being with us.
Yeah, to that, Ezra, have you come up with a catchphrase yet?
Cheers.
I should note for the audience, part of our last module was one of the puzzles was that they had to actually utter a catchphrase in order to pass an aspect of their training, and Ezra did not come up with one. And that's kind of how Quinn got killed, because a giant fireball vaporized him out of nowhere.
I'm going to ask you every episode.
It's haunted me since.
So this is probably going to be a recurring thing.
He's the ghost.
All right. Anything else you guys planning on? You maybe just taking a long rest at this point. Kind of refreshing yourselves, looking for some work in the morning.
Yes.
That's the general idea. All right. Yeah. You guys kind of just drive the night away, make your way.
I
up to
go
your
into
rooms.
half shut down, work on my arm with a spanner for a little bit. Some screwdriver stuff.
Oh right, yeah, because it did kind of get blown off. A bit. And
It did grow back, and it was nice. We got to make sure it's working properly.
Sure.
And I kind of only half sleep at night anyway.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a long rest. So everyone, make sure it's full hit points, full spell slots, all that. So you guys, what time is everybody waking up? What time do you guys normally wake up? I mean, I don't know if Zero even sleeps.
Crack of dawn.
Yeah.
I go
what
low.
time is crack of dawn? Give me a time.
7:30 a.m.
6:30?
6:30 a.m.
Sure.
Yeah. What time of year is it?
Yeah.
I would say at this point it's getting into the late summer, early fall type season.
Okay.
So it's still
more towards 6 then.
Ezra
so the
took,
light is it's definitely light out at 6:30.
We probably need to establish that in continuity when we are anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ezra happened to take Zero's drinks, so he's groggy.
A little groggy. Yeah, actually make me a constitution check to see how hungover you are
What
today,
is that?
Ezra.
20?
Yes, don't.
Just you should make a constitution saving throw.
19.
Oh yeah, you are fine. I mean, you kind of have
Drink a glass of water.
you drink a glass of water, you felt perfectly fine after that. You can see that there's only maybe one other group of adventurers up when you guys are kind of exiting. Are you guys heading towards the runner house, or where are you trying to go right now?
Yeah. After some.
We do need to look in on some work.
Yeah.
So
when you guys get to the runner house, it actually seems to be rather buzzing for this early in the morning. I mean, there's a desk with a couple agents, who are kind of wearing the sort of just the symbol of the Crucible Runners. They have little name tags on, those those to be the people who there's a big posting board, right? Like a big bulletin board with all these different job postings and things like that, all varying levels of difficulty of work. And you see people kind of taking some of these postings off, bringing them to the desk. They kind of tell them what the compensation is, give them more information about the job. It's sort of like the inquiries area. They let you kind of know what the payout is, where it's located, and this and that. And there's also what it looks to be like an area behind some sort of fencing and bars. It's where they actually do the payouts for the contracts when they're completed. If they're done through that, sometimes there are independent contractors who come in and will pay you, on arrival, things like that. But that's sort of the cash out station. And you guys kind of go to inspect the board, and there's a lot of pretty dangerous stuff up there. But there's one posting in particular that catches your eye, mainly because it's written. It's kind of scratched and scrawled a bit. It definitely looks like a child's handwriting, and there's a lot of misspellings. And it kind of
Quinn notices
it
that
reads,
right away.
"Help wanted. Heroes needed to help keeping a friend's relatives away. Pay will be a jewel as big as a grape. Meet at Gold Canary before dark, please."
Help wanted.
Plus.
Now, you guys know that the Gold Canary is actually a traveler's inn about a mile outside of town to the east. But if you guys want more detail, you kind of have to take this posting up and bring it to the agent's desk for them to.
Zero has a heart. Yes, it's made of tin, but it's still a heart, and he's going to take this very adorable thing off the board before I even give any of you other guys an opportunity to argue about it.
Sure, bring it over to the desk. Yeah, an agent kind of calls you over, and you kind of see her looking over the poster. She's like, oh, I remember. So this kid came in, I don't know, he had to be no more than 8 years old. He was wearing farmer's clothes. He kind of posted this up. He said that he had, he was having some trouble with a friend, and he showed us the jewel. We didn't have time to inspect it. He was very protective of this, but, it seems to be attached to some sort of, rod, but it's a large, it appears to be a diamond, and he's offering it up to you. No one else is taking the contract, so... he's at the Gold Canary. He stopped by actually probably right before you guys got here, and so he might even be he might have taken the carriage out of town at this point over to the Gold Canary.
So the Gold Canary is somewhere out of town. Then
it's a mile east. It's like a traveler's inn.
okay.
Yeah. sort of outside
Gentlemen,
of the city bounds.
we were all, well, not all, but most of us young men at one point in time. Perhaps we can help the chap out.
Okay.
I'm still 1 year old.
Oh, that's good. All right, you guys want to start heading towards the Gold Canary? I mean, how do you guys want to get there? You guys are just gonna, walk it? I mean, it's about a mile. You're gonna make it there in
Can we call an Uber?
There's a carriage that you might be able to catch.
Carriage, that was my next question to get there.
Yeah, get to the carriage.
I was called an Uber nerd once.
Yeah, it's at the east gate.
So take the carriage.
Just a mile.
Yeah, it's just they're only charging a gold to get there. For the whole party.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Pay
We
the
have
gold.
until dark.
Yeah, but it's sort of it says trotting you along, and it takes you only it doesn't take you very long to get down to the Golden Canary, and when you guys get there, there's some things the Golden Canary is a pretty famous inn in this area. It's known for its good taste in music and cleaner than usual silverware. The Golden Canary is clearly one of the nicer taverns in the realms. The chairs don't squeak, the tables don't wobble, and due partly to an armor-clad and able-looking bouncer named Cassandra, the place deserves its sparkling reputation. Even though the dark-skinned, well-muscled musicians on stage are playing what their handwritten sign describes as entrancing melodies inspired by ancient elven songs, the crowd is somewhat sparse this morning. A few dozen patrons sit casually throughout the tavern, enjoying a relaxing time, just listening to some music, eating some food, they have some entertainment. You don't see the kid here yet. But there's definitely some very unique looking individuals here. You see the bouncer Cassandra kind of checks you guys out as you're walking in, hey, no funny business, okay? We try to keep a clean establishment.
I think we should show Cassandra the job posting and see if she's seen the guy. Yeah. She would know who's coming in and out of here.
Sure.
Hey, sweetheart.
Who you calling sweetheart?
The only sweetheart I see.
Do me a favor. I'm just gonna do straight charisma checks.
Quinn just does a face plant.
So just your charisma. That's it.
Yeah.
8 plus 4, 12.
Yeah. So she got a 16. So she's not having any of your advantage. She's like, call me sweetheart again, and you'll be seeing the ground outside.
My mistake, ma'am.
So Quinn takes the posting and walks up to her and apologizes for his friend Hoblet, who's obviously an idiot.
But I mean, she does. I mean, you'll notice that. Even as she says that, she kind of smirks. She's not trying to be a dick about it. I mean, she's being a pretty good sport, but she's definitely asserting her. I'm not just some damsel you can pick up in a bar, fella. I'll kick you out of here pretty quick if you cause trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
So I apologize for my friend, loosely term, and I ask her the same question. I ask her, have you seen the child that might have posted?
You didn't even get the question out anyway. So yeah, go right ahead. She says, no, I haven't seen any kids coming through here. It's a tavern. We don't really see a lot of kids. So I feel like I would have caught one if he was coming in through here. It's early. Might have been coming down for lunch, but or for breakfast. But I don't know. I haven't seen anybody yet.
What time of day is it that we've gotten here, by the way, anyway?
Probably, you think about it. You guys have been, took the time to get dressed and to wake up, make sure you guys are all settled, get to the carriage.
Kicked around at the thing for a little bit.
So we'll say at this point it's probably about 8 o'clock, 8:30
in
the morning.
Is this 8:30 in the morning?
Yeah,
okay, before dark. We've got lots of day to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are kind of hanging out around here. Might as well, just kind of see. There seems to be a lot of different types of people in this establishment. Yeah. You'll notice right off the bat, aside from Cassandra, who's at the door, there's a whole bunch of different people at the bar, but there's actually in a table kind of in the back corner, there looks to be a small man, maybe in his early 30s, well dressed in a very really nice black and gray suit, and he's sitting with 3 other sort of similarly dressed but much larger men. And they seem to be kind of talking about something, either kind of leaned in close, kind of talking about, I don't know, they're having a conversation. The bartender is sort of this dwarf fellow. You know his name because just kind of from the stories I heard about this place. That's Grunstout. You guys actually know that, he's a pretty friendly guy, but he's definitely. It's mostly just an act to get people to spend money. I mean, you see him like brown nosing just about everybody sitting at that bar right now.
His reputation precedes him. We get a celebrity bartender,
right? And you know that his family. I mean, his family's actually kind of famous. They actually they live on top of and sit on top of a gold mine, like a literal gold mine. So he's actually able to keep the Golden Canary open just from his own personal wealth. Obviously, he's still trying to make money back because that money's going to run out at some point. But you kind of know that he's kind of schmoozing his way about. And then, on the stage, there's this sort of, you see this elf, this half elf on stage kind of performing, his renditions of maybe some classic elven tunes. I'm using air quotes. You definitely can tell, especially Quinn as a bard, his technical ability is outstanding. Mm-hmm. Outstanding.
I'm almost entranced by it.
Not really, though.
No.
Because as technical as it is, I mean, he doesn't connect at all on an emotional level with his pieces. I mean, you know this for sure. He's just noodling around, like maybe just to impress people. You don't really know. I mean, he's just showing off, but there's no soul behind what he's doing. And he just they're all right, but it's definitely like this is why they were scheduled for the morning shift.
Sure.
As well as there's probably some other folks around, some wearing adventuring gear, some others just like wearing, there's just like farmers and things like that, maybe taking a break from, or maybe some, having a drink before they go to work in the fields, who knows, What do you guys want to do in the meantime to kill some time?
I don't think drinking is a good idea.
No.
Is it the week or the weekend right now?
You know what, why don't we say it's a Thursday?
Yeah. Okay, no brunch then.
You don't know that.
Who does Thursday brunch then?
The Golden Canary.
I mean, listen, this is Telduria, man. This ain't Earth. Who knows how they run their stuff? Maybe Thursday is like the place, the time and place to have brunch. Maybe they always do Thursday brunch. You don't know that.
Is there a table open near the group of well-dressed gentlemen?
Yeah, I'd say there's probably one. Not adjacent, but like one up from being adjacent to them. So you're kind of like cornered to them.
I'm going to sort of lead everybody over towards that table and see if my crew will just kind of follow me to go sit down there.
Sure.
Let's grab a sheet, boys.
And this is by the music, and it's all in one area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you have the stage is a little set off. I mean, you guys, it's not like blasting your ears. It's definitely, it's okay enough as background music. You guys want to take a seat at that table?
Yep.
You guys follow him?
Sure.
Might as well, right?
Yeah.
Just see what
you're
ordering. And one of the so this barmaid kind of comes up to you. He asks you, "Hey, can I get you guys anything to eat, anything to drink? We got a special on some pretzels, some hot pretzels, and some we have some brunch specials as well."
Oh, the old famous Golden Canary Thursday brunch.
That's right, you know it, one and only. It's the one and only.
Could we see a brunch menu?
Yeah, sure. Why, certainly. And he kind of hands you down. I don't know why I'm doing like old New Yorker, like 1920s New Yorker accents for everybody. Whatever.
We're going.
That's the accent of the region now. It's the East Coast.
The bartender every time.
He kind of hands you guys some menus, and you kind of peruse them. It's like it's the standard brunch fare with a little twist. There's kind of some weird and wacky recipes that kind of look a little out of place for brunch. like just fish and scrambled eggs and all these weird. It's a kind of whole wide array of stuff. Like you think that the cook might be trying to be a little too creative. But there's also just some standard fare, eggs, toast, that type of thing they're whipping up in the kitchen. And then he also hands just the drink menus. He's got ales, whatever you're looking for really. And he's like, I'll give you guys a few minutes, I'll be back in a minute. So he kind of walks off, and you can kind of overhear the conversation happening at the other table right now. Kind of as you're perusing the menus. Can everyone just give me perception checks just to kind of see how well you're able to hear stuff, kind of in the din of the
passive
table?
Perception, or
no? We're gonna do perception because you guys are kind of there and
sure.
It's right by you. So I'm gonna start with Hoblet. What do you got?
Where's my perception? 20.
20. Okay. Quinn.
14.
20.
0. 21.
And Ezra 21. Yeah, you guys are very.
We're on fire.
Yeah. You can very clearly overhear the conversation that they're having. He seems to be kind of talking about how, Grunstout is, owes him some gold, and he's waiting to collect, and he's gonna wait for the right time to go up and ask him because he's kind of been a little late on his protection lately, and as he's starting to kind of get that out of his mouth, he kind of looks over at you guys, kind of sees that you're looking at your menus, but he's actually, you can tell that maybe it's not the right time to have this conversation. So he kind of like, you out of the corner, you kind of just see him kind of sit back. He's like, we should get somebody to eat, fellas. And they kind of shut up.
Well, Zero's face doesn't betray anything. I guess he's got a good poker face.
Mm-hmm.
Though he has a good poker face when he's not supposed to have a good poker face too. So I guess it all balances out. You're just not expressive.
Yeah, and he kind of catches you, Hobbler, kind of. He looks like he kind of just shoots you a dirty look, like definitely an obvious like mind your own business look. If you know what's good for you, kind of thing. And the waiter then comes back to the table and says, okay, what can I get you guys to drink? And you see that the man behind him has got his hand raised. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, fellas. Just one moment. I'm sorry. And he kind of rushes over to the table like, what can I get for you, Mr. Rozzi? What can I get for you, Mr. Rozzi?
Okay.
And they kind of they make standard orders, some ales and wines and something out of the back, like a steak from the back or something.
Rozzi, you said his name was?
Rozzi, R-A-Z-I.
All right. Not that I'm going to be able to use these notes properly later, but
that's always good to keep note of that
that's
stuff.
our mobster guy. No wonder you're using a New York accent for around here. You got
monsters.
It was all meant to be. I was practicing this earlier.
Subconsciously, I probably absolutely was.
Yeah. So the waiter kind of comes back. He's about to ask you to take your order, and you kind of see at that point the door opens to the front, and a little kid walks in, maybe about pretty short. Looks to be about 8 or 9 years old, and you kind of see him like looking around a little bit, and he kind of seems a little like scared because he's around a bunch of adults and he seems to be by himself. So he kind of like slinks into the corner, kind of like just sneaks like next to the bar, and you see Cassandra kind of walk over to him, kind of look down, like, hey honey, you lost? And he's like, no, I'm here, I'm looking for someone, he said to her. He's like, okay, well, let me just have a seat over here next to me, okay? And so she kind of puts him up and, kind of walks over. You see him talking to Grunstout, like, hey, what should we do with this kid? They're kind of talking. The kid's just kind of sitting with his legs swinging.
Maybe one of you should do the talking. Kids either think I'm the greatest or most horrible thing ever.
Right. The waiter's like, hey, can I get you guys anything to drink?
I'll take a goat milk mimosa.
That sounds disgusting. That sounds absolutely disgusting. But yeah, sure, I guess we could do that for you.
Quinn just kind of gives him a disgusted look.
What? The mountain goat mimosa is the most delicious thing in the world.
To each their own.
Hashtag just dwarf stuff.
I will just. Quinn asks for just a pint of ale.
Okay, Ezra.
Ezra sticks to water.
Okay.
I also am going to use some water.
Okay. So he kind of runs to the bar. He brings your drinks back pretty quick after he drops off the stuff drinks to Rozzi's table. And he's like, "Can I get anything else for you, fellas?"
Yeah. I'd like to inquire about this, and we hold this up to him. Huh? I point to someone.
Looks like some little kid wrote that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Looks like there's a little kid over there. Maybe we should go talk to him. I don't know. Maybe it might further the plot.
I'm a terrifying little dwarf in armor, so I'm not going anywhere near his
I've been having this problem. Like I've been wanting to show the waiter this
piece of paper,
this post.
Yeah.
So I just kind of get up.
Yeah.
And walk over to this kid and just toss it on the table.
Or on his lap. He's sitting on a stool. Yeah.
With my water. I took my water with me.
Are you a real adventurer? Please tell me you're a real adventurer. My name's Tobby.
I look back over to the table.
He extends his hand to shake your hand.
We're waving our hands.
I raise my glass of ale and I just cheers.
I just shake his hand. Nothing said.
Sure, yeah. And he's like, my name's... and he starts to get, like, visibly nervous now. Like, he's like, now he knows that he's in the presence of, like, some, like, a real adventurer in his mind. So he kind of see him, like, kind of, like, stuttering as he's talking to you, like, my name's Tabby Ostermont. I live with my mom and pa and a little brother down past the bend and over across the eastern wood. Are you really adventurers? Is those your friends over there? And he kind of points to the table where you guys are kind of, like, putting your heads down and just drinking your ale.
My head is actually up a little bit, and I have, like, the end of the original Man Show, just poured the entire glass of water down my throat in one pour.
I'm just watching Ezra entertain.
I decide to say...
And then he just, like, before you even speak, he kind of sees that, like, Hoblet is, like, just decked out with all these weapons and armor. He just runs over to you. He's like, Hi, I'm Tabby. What's your name? Are those real swords? Are those really sharp?
Jesus.
Oh, they look so cool. Are you a real adventurer?
We've answered your post. Doesn't that answer your question, boy?
Well, I just had to ask. I just hadn't been a real adventurer before. I've lived on the farm my whole life, and it's just really exciting. And I don't really know what to do with myself, and I need to breathe.
Quinn leans over to Hoblet and says, "This is why I don't deal with children."
Take a deep breath, boy.
Okay, you kind of see him, like... You kind of see him take a breath. He's like, okay, wait, before I just... What's the biggest monster you've ever killed? You ever killed a big monster before? I just want to know. Have you killed a big monster before?
Indeed, son. What's the biggest monster you've ever seen?
I don't know. I've just heard about them. I've just heard about ogres, and giants, and trolls, and hydras, and dragons.
Quinn leans over and says, "We've killed a lot of monsters. What do you need?"
Oh, right. Okay, I'm sorry. So, okay, so in the story...
Super Low Zero's like, I accidentally shot a camel once.
Desert monsters, if you ask me.
With artillery.
So Tabby kind of, like, looks at you a little weird and then just kind of continues. He's like, in the stories I've read, when someone's in trouble and they can't help themselves, they look for heroes to help. Well, I've got a friend in trouble and I think we need a hero. Now, I know you think that I'm just a kid that needs his cat brought out of a tree or something, but I double promise it's not like that. I really can't talk much about it here, but if you can follow me home, I'll let you meet him. I also have this, since I heard you have to sometimes pay heroes to get them to help. You kind of see him reach into his shirt, and he removes this long bundle wrapped in red wool. He glances around to make sure no one else is looking and kind of carefully unfolds the cloth. And you see inside is a metal rod, about a foot long, covered in fine engravings, and a few small cogs and levers which are somehow attached to the bar, spin and bounce as if they were alive. At the tip sits what looks...
my attention.
Yeah, right. At the tip sits what looks to be a diamond about the size of a large grape.
Well, at least the kid didn't lie.
And you see him, as soon as he shows it to you guys are going to go look at it, he just quickly wraps it back up and shoves it back in his pocket.
Their heads are all dancing with dollar signs, and I'm thinking something about it being a great focusing crystal.
Right. So, he's like, so, will you help me? Will you help me, guys? Please.
I just look at the others.
Right. So
I think you got us up some heroes.
All right. I'm so excited. And he's just like, you're just jumping up in the air and like doing laps around your table. I mean, he couldn't be more elated. So he kind of grabs Hoblet's hand because he's the first person right by him. Just kind of start pulling towards him. Can we go? I want to go home before dark. I told my pa was just going out to get some people to help with some stuff around the house. But don't mind that. I'll explain that on the walk there. I just we should probably get back before he starts asking where I am.
All right, boy. All right. Come on, Bod. Let's go.
Have we paid for our drinks and food yet?
No.
Well, we didn't order any food.
You didn't pay for the drinks, though.
Yeah, consistent with making, there are rules. I'm going to follow the rules.
The bartender dropped the tab. It's 3 gold.
3 gold on the table.
Okay.
Well, 3 gold, 50 silver on the table.
There you go. Nice guy.
Wow. Big spender.
I'm from the desert at the end of the world, and I've heard of a tip. What's your excuse?
Take it easy, old chap.
So he kind of leads you guys outside, and once you guys get outside, you kind of see him grab a walking stick that he left by the door. and he begins to quickly walk towards the sun, which is still rising, in the east. So he's kind of heading back towards Arylon, but you guys know that there's a road that kind of goes around the city into the eastern wood, which is just this large forest that he said that they're just on the other side of. You see him say, if we hurry, we can make it through the forest in time, before it gets dark, or else it's going to take us a few hours, to get around in the woods. But, I feel really comfortable. You guys don't think you can handle yourselves, you guys are really adventurers, right? You can handle anything that comes out of the woods, right?
Listen, boy. Keep it down up there.
But I'm just really excited. I'm just really excited because you guys have really adventurous and you have really sharp axes and you guys have really all this cool stuff. And is that a real sword? Is that a real sword? And he says kind of almost wanting to touch the hilt of your sword, Ezra. It's at your hip. Do you stop?
I'll just pull it away. I really don't want him to touch me.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just think we're really excited. He's like, so I just have to, so it's a few hours from here, but I told my pa that I was coming into town to kind of get some help with the carpentry work in the barn and to try to find someone to take a look at Mambo, our milk cow. So, if you guys have some clothes that look less heroic, you might want to change into those when we get to the farm, just to make things easier to explain. I don't think my dad's really seen a lot of adventurers or trusts a lot of people. So he kind of he's kind of waiting for you to decide if you guys want to, begin to walk towards into the woods, or if you guys, are trying to, make the long trek around. It'll take you about, an hour to get through the woods, but it would take you about 4 or 5 hours to go around.
Say we head through the woods.
Yeah, shortest way is better.
Sure. Now, the woods are relatively dense. I mean, there's definitely a road that goes through them, but, a lot of trading routes and stuff like that tend to go around that area just because it's a lot easier to get ambushed in the woods. And, so it's not as well paved of a path. It's definitely some areas that have some roots growing over it and things like that, but it's still, a very clear path into the woods. And as you kind of get into the woods a bit, you notice that even with the sun still kind of rising, it's rather dark in here because of just the canopy of the trees. And you kind of see that Tabi is a bit more. As you kind of walk in a little bit into the woods, Tabi seems to be a little bit more willing to talk about the problem at hand. He's like, okay, I kind of want to tell you, a little bit about, just a little bit about with my friend and what we're trying to do because I didn't feel it was safe in there. You never know who's gonna, who's listening and I don't want anyone to steal this thing. And I'm just a kid, I'm just a kid. But he says, my friend, okay, so I call him 31 Squared. I know it's a weird name, but you'll get it when you see him. He showed up at my dad's farm, 3 nights ago. And I don't really know exactly how he got there, but he's been staying in the barn loft and just kind of been, keeping him hidden from my family because I don't know what they'd do if they found him. I'm not even entirely sure what he is. I mean, he's short and brown and kind of square, and he makes all sorts of funny noises. And I don't know. Maybe he's just from out of town or something. I don't know what people look like out there. Maybe people come from all shapes and sizes. And he says he's also really smart actually. When I first found him, he could barely speak, and I started bringing him books and stuff like that from around the house. Just, a brief history of Telduria and Old Flan, a collection of short stories, all the good books. And he just, the more he reads, the more words he just speaks, and it's just he just keeps going, and he's just, I don't know, it's very crazy how fast he learns everything. He doesn't really seem to get hungry either. He's definitely asked for some odd items around the house, though, like needles and yarn and cloth and lead sinkers and pitch, and I don't know, it's just...
Zero's head tips to the side a little bit. This sounds very interesting.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know, it's just, it's you have to meet him, and you'll understand why we need to help him, he'll explain it. And so after about an hour of kind of walking through the woods and talking to Tabi, even at this kind of bright day, the sun is kind of all but vanished from the sky at this point. It's just canopy and dim light. It's definitely still just residually a little bright just because there are certain areas where the sun's still poking through, but it's a little harder. It's just that, it's definitely your eyes are adjusting. And you kind of actually hear very distant, very, very distant in the woods. So there are some, howls and barks kind of echoing through the woods. Probably wolves or things of that nature. And you see that Tabi starts to get visibly scared at this point. Like he actually kind of clutches to Quinn's leg, kind of just like holding on. Like, and then he kind of just like lets go as he goes. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of keeping to himself a little bit. He's definitely kind of putting himself in between all of you guys,
I'm keeping my hood down, but more to be part to be at the ready and part to reassure him. I take my heavy crossbow off my back and load up around.
Sounds good. As one particularly crisp howl echoes across the air, Tabi jumps in fright and pulls in even closer to the party. Large game trails in this part of the woods add to the feeling that you're not alone out here. Tabi seems to know the general direction of the farm, but he admits to never having traveled the woods when, by himself.
And he still managed to make it to the inn by 8:30 in the morning?
I don't know. You don't know how he got there. Ahead you kind of catch some movement through, just kind of in not the shadows necessarily, but, just sort of the
brush.
Yeah, right. You see him. You can tell that in the path ahead, a large wolf must have taken down its prey because a large wolf looks to have taken down its prey and it scatters as it hears your approach. So you kind of see the wolf kind of feeding on some deer or whatever, and then as he sees you approach, it just kind of darts off into the woods.
I fade about 5 to 7 feet back of the party. I'm kind of taking the sweeper position.
Sure. So you guys are still about maybe 40 feet from this dead deer. You guys advancing at all, or did you stop?
I was under the impression we were still going.
Yeah. We're just going.
Sure. Yeah.
Step over the deer.
Yep.
I don't know a lot, but a stationary target's going to be easier for wild animals to want to come at.
Yeah, and you can tell a little farther ahead too. This seems to open up a bit into a clearing as well. So, the woods open into there's just a sunlit clearing, and you see what looks to be another 2 deer carcasses ahead, about 20 feet from each other. The carcasses look to have been almost completely devoured. Upon closer inspection, the carcass is that of actually a single deer, but it appears to have been torn in 2. The carcass has been ravaged by wolves and other scavengers, but you can clearly see that its skull has been crushed and blood surrounds the area. There's pieces of fur and flesh that are scattered about. And there are also large humanoid footprints that are around the grisly scene that kind of lead into the woods.
Indiscriminate humanoid tracks?
Very large. Very, very large feet. We're talking maybe, let's say maybe about 2 feet, a foot and a half.
It's a big foot.
Something with big feet in the woods. Some joke about beef jerky. I don't know.
If anyone wants to use their survival or just a wisdom check, maybe you can piece together what happened over here. I mean, even if you don't have provision, you can still make a wisdom check and use your bonus. No one's very wise, huh?
I have 12 passive wisdom.
It doesn't matter much of passive wisdom. I mean, you can just make a nature check. Or a survival check, I mean.
Yeah.
Bollocks. 9.
Okay. Man, you can't really tell what caused this. What about you, Ezra?
18.
Yeah. You kind of survey the area. You know that these tracks are of a giant. And that you can even, if you look up and next to where the trees kind of go back into the woods a little bit, off to the side of the path, there's definitely there's some blood in that tree branch as well, and the ogre or the whatever it was appeared to, or the giant happened to hit its head against the tree branch because it definitely scraped itself along there. It wouldn't have been anything else that could have been up that high. And that this deer was ripped apart by the dwarf or by this ogre. Maybe he was angry or something like that.
I know it's an ogre.
Yeah, it's an ogre.
It's all ogre now.
Yeah. As you guys are sort of examining the clearing, I would like. Can everyone just tell me what their passive perception scores are?
12.
Passive perception.
Oh, sorry, 10.
It should just be a number written down there, yeah.
12.
Wait, where?
Okay.
Yeah. 12.
Well, actually, I'll just be honest with you. They rolled terribly. So you'll see that as they tried to sneak up on you, there's some branches broken, things like that, and you actually see coming out of one of the wooded areas into the clearing, there appears to be a wolf, or a dire wolf, and 5 smaller wolves along with it. Must have been maybe one of the wolves, must have run off and brought the pack back.
Well, giant's nowhere around.
Yeah, and we're going to roll initiative as these wolves attempt to ambush you, successfully. So I'm going to start with Hoblet. What was your initiative, buddy?
0. That's the second natural one of the day.
Yeah, but at least in initiative it doesn't matter as much.
I've never seen someone roll a 0 initiative.
Quinn.
That's crazy. 19.
0.
12.
And Ezra.
11.
Alright, so we're going to have Quinn, then the wolves, and 0, then Ezra, and then Hoblet.
Okay, so I take a pinch of sand out of my bag, and toward the dire wolves, I cast my sleep spell.
Pocket sand?
Yeah, I mean, they're all within...
Yeah, like a pocket of each other.
Yeah, they haven't really fanned out too much yet at this point. You've discovered them a little quicker than that.
So 22 total hit points.
Starting
with the lowest hit.
2 of the wolves are asleep.
Okay, I have put asleep 2 of the wolves for you guys. Have at it.
Thanks, Bard.
You're welcome.
Yeah, support classes.
I'm just going to mark which ones are sleeping. We'll call those 1 and 2. Because the dire wolf is its own thing.
So there's 5 plus the dire wolf?
5 plus a dire wolf. Yep, and we're going to go to them. So 2 of them are... Now, they don't make saves at all when they're sleeping, right? They have to actually be hit, I think.
Correct. So if you attack them, they wake up.
Or roused by something else.
Correct.
Right. Okay, so they're just out. So the dire wolf is going to lunge right at you, Quinn.
Oh, great.
Because you have all that magic-y stuff.
Sure.
And it's going to try to bite you.
Okay.
It's going to get the 17 against your AC.
I am going to cast Shield as a defensive.
So it adds plus
5. So
plus
I'm
5.
at 18.
Okay, yeah. So you kind of like quickly as a reaction throw up like your hand, cast shield, and it bites. It bites like this barrier force and doesn't get to you.
So then I have that shield until
the end
until
your
my
next
round.
turn.
Right, my turn.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just say that for now to keep things going. Okay, and then the 3 wolves that are conscious, probably going to go for the person in front, and that was Hoblet. So they're all going to lunge at you, buddy.
Yeah, I think you're kind of the natural choice as the point man, being
small
smashy.
and smashy.
Yeah,
small and ironclad. Yeah.
Yeah, I can step up.
And they're all
going to
try to bite you as well. Now, you're going to notice that they, as they kind of travel and hunt as a pack, they definitely look a little more menacing than normal. I mean, they're definitely like coming at you pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
So
3 of them?
Yep. So we have, first roll is a 17 against your AC.
Hit.
Okay. Second one is a 22. And the third is a 14. So 2 hits. 2 hits. Okay.
All right.
You're going to take...
All right.
All right.
Okay, which way do you go with all right? Do you go Matthew McConaughey? Do you go Outcast?
Yeah. You're going to take 11 points of piercing damage. And you must make a strength saving throw.
Well, that's good, because I got +3 to my strength saving throws.
Much another one, right?
11.
It's exactly what you needed. You avoid being knocked prone as the wolves try to topple you down.
Yes!
The other 2 are just sleeping. So we're going to go to 0.
Okay.
Loose around right into the big wolf.
I took 11.
Oh yeah, can you describe your crossbow since the episode that we recorded may not be released?
Yeah.
I took 11. Damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
A crossbow, except scaled up to a 6'5" or 6'8" autonomous war platform.
Yeah.
So in anyone else's hands, this thing would be a crew-served weapon.
Right.
And you can kind of tell because it looks like it's been torn off of a tripod at some point.
Fantastic. And you're going to loose a
bolt out of
heavy
this
crossbow?
monster at the dire wolf.
Do it.
Let's see, 13, 6, 19.
That's definitely a hit.
And we are 1d10 plus 2 piercing.
Make it go.
4, 5, 6 piercing.
Okay. Good hit. Ezra.
And now, how are we positioned right now? You're kind of.
He's kind of in the front, tanking the three. You guys,
right.
The rest of you are sort of. I mean, you're probably all within 10 feet of each other at this point.
Okay.
Kind of exiting right at the edge of the clearing.
Yeah, I'm gonna withdraw it maybe about another 5 feet back, so I'm about 15 feet away from.
Like the edge of the woods. Or the party.
Yeah, I just want to be a little bit back from the party.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you have plenty of room to do that.
And start racking another bolt.
Yeah, that's fine. Ezra.
I'm going to. So the big one, the bigger wolf is still there. Yeah. I'm going to attack the dire wolf.
Sounds good. What are you going to do to it?
I'm going to give it an unarmed strike. I'm going to punch it twice.
Sure. Yeah. Let's do it. 2d20. That's not a hit.
No. 12. No. Yeah, 13.
Not enough. Yeah, you kind of, your punches weren't too accurate. You didn't really get at any vital areas. It didn't really seem to be too affected by the blows you just unleashed on it, unfortunately. So we're gonna go to Hoblet. You have 3 of these bad boys trying to bite at you.
Yeah, Smasher.
Yeah, we're gonna get smashy. I'm going to pull out my maul, and
what was your maul's name?
Trixie.
Then you said you were naming it, so
here, Trixie.
Okay.
And I'm going to swing at
one of the ones.
We'll call it Wolf 3.
Yeah,
the first one that charged at me.
Sure.
Not one of the ones that's asleep.
Make it happen.
I want to do...
Word of advice, move your pencil off of the surface you're rolling on if that's the case, because you hit that pencil and that's what knocked you down to that.
Yeah, 6. But it could have knocked me up. Oh, that's not...
No, it's a 9. It's a 9.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to do a pregnancy joke?
Well, we've already got one kid here.
His name's Tommy.
Tobby.
Tobbi.
Tobbi.
Because this is
fantasy.
Because it's fantasy.
I
figured,
it's a Tom girl.
Channel divinity and add 10.
That or
add 10 to that roll? Yeah. I mean, what was your total already?
What's my hit? What's my...
Plus 5 to hit. 9 plus 5? That's 14. That's a hit.
Oh, alright. Never mind then. So I got 2d6. Should I roll for the other one?
Well, I don't know. Using your bonus action to use your War Priest ability?
Just thinking about it to try to get these wolves off my jock.
It's up to you.
6 plus 3 is 9.
9 damage? Yeah, man, you smash this thing. It's looking very close to dead. You definitely hear like some of its ribs snap. As it is just it is just barely hanging on to life.
Alright, no, I'll save him. I'll be done.
Okay. Quinn. You got a dire wolf on you.
Yeah, I'm engaged, correct? Yeah.
Correct.
So I unsheath my rapier.
Mm-hmm.
I take a stab at his chest.
Sounds good.
7.
Nope. Yeah, you kind of... I mean, it's definitely thrashing around a bit, trying to get at you, so you don't really get you can't really get a good stab at it, it's a little too fast for you.
Since I didn't move, I'm now going to move... I'm a half elf, right? 30 feet away.
Okay, it's going to take an attack of opportunity against you.
That's fine.
And it's going to get a 14 against your AC?
No.
Okay,
because I have the shield until the end of my turn.
No, I mean, so it's already your turn.
So at the beginning of my turn?
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay, alright, that's fine.
But it
then it hits, yeah.
It does hit you?
Yep.
So your movement is interrupted? You're still 5 feet from it? And you take 13 piercing damage.
Jesus. Hey guys, kind of struggling.
I'm already shooting it.
And then they're going to take their turn.
Shooting.
And the dire wolf is going to... There's no reason to stop attacking Quinn, since it just got a nice chunk of him. And he's going to come at you again. This time he's going to roll 20 against your AC.
Clearly.
Not a natural 20.
No.
Just a
but
20
clearly
total.
that hits.
Yeah, that hits. And you're going to take 8 piercing damage?
Yeah. I'm
you down?
Dying, yeah.
He's down. The 3 wolves are still going to attack Hoblet. We have a 23,
a
15, and a 16. Just one, right?
I'm a 16. Does a tie hit?
Yeah, tie hits, so 2 hits. You're going to take... This time, that's not too much. You're going to take 6 points of piercing damage. You got a little lucky that time. 0.
Alright. Well, even if I wanted to attack twice, I can't.
Right.
You know what I am going to do, though? I'll use Second Wind to take make sure I take 2 actions. With the first one, I'm going to be switching from the heavy crossbow to the hand crossbow and shield.
Okay.
And then take my move to advance in on the direwolf.
Sure, yeah.
While I'm moving in at just over 5 feet, pull the trigger on the hand crossbow.
Make it happen. On the one that's injured? Or on the direwolf?
On the direwolf.
Sorry.
I need to get the heat off of him.
Sure. Yeah, he's on the ground now.
So we're looking 13 plus 6, 19.
That's definitely a hit.
And that is
6
plus 2
There's
piercing.
this giant 6'8" shield wall with a hand crossbow.
Yeah.
So it's a riot marching towards it.
3.
Ouch. Yeah, I mean, it kind of like... You see it kind of graze him, definitely leaves a mark. You know, like some blood kind of spurts out, but it doesn't like stick inside of the...
Yeah, and then, as I'm doing that on the fly, I'm ending the turn right in his face with the shield.
Absolutely. Ezra, you were kind of trying to hit the direwolf before, but it really didn't care about you at all.
Right. All right, so...
But at this point, it's starting to look at you pretty menacingly. Quinn is unconscious on the ground.
The other two
are still sleeping?
The other two are still sleeping.
I gotta ask him. Quinn, does sleep require concentration?
No, it is a 1-minute duration.
Okay, yeah, so then they're still sleeping. So yeah, there's only 3 plus the direwolf conscious right now. So Ezra, I'm sorry, what are you doing?
The other 3, there's 2 wolves sleeping, 3 wolves.
3 wolves up and a direwolf up. You were already attacking the direwolf.
Okay, so I'm going to go with another... I'm going to hit it twice. I'm going to draw my short sword.
Yeah, that's fine. You can do that. It's right there at your hip anyways.
I'm going to pierce it.
Sure. So make your attack with your short sword first, and then I'll have you make your follow-up.
24.
Yeah, that's a hit.
And then with the butt of my short sword...
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you're unarmed attack. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Very cool. Like one fluid motion. Is that a natural 1? All right, roll your damage for the short sword first.
9.
7.
7.
7.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, great hit. And then for the natural 1, you kind of, you when you go to swing across, you kind of lose your balance, and now you are prone. Mm-hmm. And you can actually, but you could probably you have a move yet this round, so you can use half of your movement right now to stand up.
I'll do that.
Okay. Anything else? You doing any other special cool stuff, or are you done?
I'm done.
Okay, Hoblet. What are you doing?
I think I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on my boy Quinn.
Yeah, sounds good to me. You'd have to... Oh, you can't, though. He's out of range. You have to touch him for that, and you'd have to, wrestle off 3 wolves to do so.
I thought that they were just near me.
They're, on you. They're trying to bite you. They've bitten you many times.
But I didn't fall down.
No, but they're still, you're actively engaged in combat with them.
What's the ranged one?
Then I have Healing Word, but it's not as much.
It doesn't matter, it's still a heal.
Yeah.
He's at 0, effectively.
And it would stabilize me.
It would not only stabilize you, but you'd stand up because you've been healed.
Okay, so I am going to cast Healing Word.
Sure. I quit.
2. Plus 2 is 4.
So you get 4 hit points back when you're standing again.
I'm at 0, yeah.
You're not at 0, you're standing. You don't go to negative when you hit 0. If you die and don't, as soon as you get unconscious, you're just at 0 hit points. You're not at negative anything. The only time negative matters, just so that the audience knows too, is when if you were to take damage that was equal to negative the negative amount of your max, your total hit points, you'd be dead outright.
Oh, I see. In one shot.
Correct.
Gotcha. I did not realize that. Okay.
Right.
So I am now at 4 then.
You're at 4 hit points and you are standing.
Gotcha. Okay.
You kind of reinvigorated. You're conscious again. You've stabilized, and you're ready to fight. And that was only a bonus action, Hoblet. So you can still take a regular action because Healing Word is only a bonus action. About smash?
Yeah, Hoblet's gonna smash the one.
You already hit.
Yeah, the one that I already hit.
Okay.
Plus 5 is 13.
Exactly what you need to hit it.
All right.
You got it.
Hoblet. Smash. 8.
What does it look like when you kill one of these wolves?
Have you ever squished a grape between your fingers? I smashed his head into the ground.
Fantastic. Okay. Quinn.
That's Wolf 3.
Yeah, Wolf 3 is dead.
So there are 2 wolves
asleep.
Two asleep, 2 conscious, and a dire wolf.
Okay.
That's not looking so good.
I'm still near the dire wolf,
Correct.
but I'm not engaged in the dire wolf anymore, correct?
It has turned to face its attention towards the things that are alive still.
Correct. Okay, so which I am now already alive.
Right. Didn't really have enough time to turn back around and be like, I thought I ate you.
Between me, so the dire wolf I can definitely, I'm within range 30 feet. There's 2 wolves. Are they within 30 feet of me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I prick my finger, and I use Bane against the 3 creatures that are still alive. It's a charisma saving throw.
So, yeah, the dire wolf and the other 2 are going to make the save. The ones that are sleeping a little far away. So, I'm saying charisma saves?
Charisma
saves, you know
saves,
how charismatic wolves are, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very charismatic.
So, we'll start with the dire wolf. What's the save?
Is 13.
Okay, so dire wolf rolled an 11, failed. One of the wolves passed. The other wolf also passed.
All right, so the dire wolf, whenever he attacks or has to do a saving roll, he has to roll a d4 and subtract
that. Sounds good.
Okay.
Great idea, especially because it is now their turn.
Glad it's the dire wolf.
So the dire wolf is actually going to try to bite Ezra.
You're welcome.
But I'm going to roll the d4 along with this here. So he's going to hit you. He's going to still get a 17 against your AC. What's your AC?
16.
Yeah, it's a hit.
Yeah.
And you're going to take 10 piercing damage. And now the other 2 are still attacking Hoblet. Oh man, these wolves are really rolling well today. A 20 and a 19.
I'm down.
How much hit points do you have?
2.
Oh, yeah, you definitely are down. Hoblet's down. And 0. It's your turn.
Alright, well, Direwolf is still in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
I have to take my shot, but since I'm within 5 feet, that's disadvantage, I believe.
That's correct, unless you have crossbow expert.
Yeah, I don't have access to feats yet. That will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, oh my god. Look at that for posterity.
That's ridiculous. Both are nat 1s.
Oh my god, you rolled snake eyes on d20s.
I know, right?
Your hand crossbow misfires and shatters into pieces.
Just drop it to the ground. And I have to use a full action to rearm to a different weapon, correct?
That would be correct. To now unsheath a new one? Yes.
Alright, so that'll have
Might
to
as
wait
well do
till
that.
next go.
Yep.
But while we're kind of still at my turn,
Uh-huh.
I just take a quick glance. Where's our young charge?
He's hiding behind a big rock next to some trees.
Okay.
Safe.
We've got some meat in between
Yes,
him and
that is
the wolves.
correct.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
he wanted to get as far away and put you as far between him and the wolves as possible.
Excellent.
Yeah. Tubby's just, you kind of hear him whimpering behind there because he saw a couple of you guys drop. Ezra, what are you doing? Keep wailing away at the direwolf?
I'm going to go... Well, there's 3 wolves, right? There's 3 wolves
Yeah,
left.
but you're right. You're still right. You're still technically engaged with the direwolf since he tried to attack you.
Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, except I'm going to do an unarmed attack first.
Okay.
And then go to stab it.
You actually have to take your monk weapon attack first in order to take the extra. Yeah, just
that's
this
fine.
order.
Yeah,
of
that's
okay.
fine.
That's fine. Anything else? Or are you just gonna save like your key stuff, or whatever?
I was going to attack the other.
They're not. They wouldn't be close enough for you to kind of whip around, especially when you're engaged.
But I might as well go at
the direwolf. It's pretty beefy.
Go after the direwolf then
So
with 1 key point, and I'm gonna deliver Fury of Blows.
That sounds good. So you're gonna roll a short sword attack and then 3 unarmed attacks.
Okay.
Short sword is a crit.
Nice.
Yes.
24.
Right when we needed it.
Okay.
And then 3, right?
And then 3 unarmed attacks. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Hit. Wow. Hit.
Wow.
One more.
Dude.
Roll a 17, please.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I knew it was going to happen.
The thing is
I
on
felt it.
fire.
Okay. Because I want you to experience the glory of what it's like to roll all of those dice. Oh yeah, house rule, because we established this before we started recording.
Yeah.
For Chris, for me, because I feel like they need to be spectacular, or else it just seems weird to roll 2 dice and hit a snake eyes on them. When you hit a crit, you get max damage on one of your die, and then you roll the second one. So since you would double your damage die anyway, you just get max damage on what would have been your first roll, and then you just do your second roll to add on to it. And then you add your bonuses. So, let's add it all up. So it would be... Yeah, what does it look like when you absolutely
32.
pummel this direwolf?
It's nothing new.
It's nothing new.
See, he gets to act like you've been there
And
before.
as you absolutely decimate this direwolf, you see that the other two just immediately try to disengage from combat from Hoblet. You can choose to attack if you want, or they're about to start running away from you, and they try to go up and grab the scruff of the neck of the ones that are sleeping and kind of carry him away after they saw the pack leader just get murdered.
I would be able to attack them if I had any hit points.
Yeah.
You're right. You just
But yeah, thanks for rubbing that.
Yeah, so we're going to get out of combat, but I'm going to have you... actually, here's what we're going to say here. The wolves are defeated, but Hoblet is down. He also happens to be the one who heals, but I think, hopefully, but Quinn has some healing spells prepared. But we'll find out next week on Hapless Heroes. So, just real quick, I want to say thank you guys for listening. Really appreciate you joining us on our first show. I'm sorry if the audio quality is a little crappy. We're working with one mic right now, but we're just really trying to make an entertaining show for y'all. So, one more time, going around the table, I'm Francesco, your host and DM for this evening. We have
James or Hoblet.
Mike playing Quinn.
Dave playing Omega Project Prototype 0.
Joe as Ezra.
And again, I'm Francesco. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys again next week.